encourage patients to look on the internet and find helpful websites, whether it's the AUA, the foundation, or other avenues. There's a tremendous amount of research going on. I mean, you can just walk around this hall and see a lot of it. So if you receive that diagnosis, hopefully you'll do it on your own, but the urologists also need to encourage.
Thank you, Rick. We're going to transition to this mic now. Okay, I want to thank Rick again. If you have follow-up questions, Rick is an extraordinary resource, having worked with the AUA for 30 years. Please do seek him out. And I'm going to move on to our next introduction because there's a lot to say on the next speakers coming up. So now it is my pleasure to introduce our speakers, Lauren and Tom Hulsey. As some background, Mr. Hulsey is a champion advocate who notably completed 9 Ironman triathlons, 2 after battling and surviving cancer. Despite his career as well as cardiac challenges, Tom has been steadfastly dedicated himself to serving others. Tom's advocacy engagements over the years convey his deep commitment. Such endeavors include, though are not limited to, serving as a volunteer research advocate at the NCI designated UT Southwestern in Dallas, where as part of a team that applied for and was awarded a Stand Up to Cancer grant to support the inclusion of racially and ethnically diverse populations in early phase clinical trials. Further, Tom is a Hamlin HeartMate team member. Sponsored by Abbott, HeartMates is a supportive and empowering community for people impacted by heart conditions. Tom also currently serves in multiple volunteer roles at the AUA. He is an inaugural Patient Perspectives editor of AUA News, member of the AUA Clinical Trials Collective, and member of the AUA Patient Education Council. Tom has, over his advocacy years, has also been affiliated as a consumer reviewer and mentor of the Clinically Directed Medical Research Program 7 times, Zero Prostate Cancer Board member for 7 years, Mary Crawley Cancer Research Board member 5 years, and North Texas Prostate Cancer Coalition past president. Part of Tom's efforts have also included advocating on Capitol Hill for patients and physician needs. As if Tom has not been busy enough, he has authored 2 books about his journey and how mindset was key. To sum up Tom's deep dedication, true to his commitment to others, I know that Tom donates book sales to philanthropic organizations that are making a positive impact on humankind. Despite all of his advocacy throughout the community, one would never know that Tom's biggest fear is public speaking. And true to his perseverance, what motivates Tom is knowing his message supersedes his fear. To segue now to Lauren and Tom coming up to the podium, I will share that Tom readily admits he could not have overcome his medical curveballs without his incredibly supportive spouse, Lauren, his co-survivor. Initially, he was ready to give up. He was mentally defeated. For someone who's always lived an active and healthy lifestyle, the health battles, starting with his cancer diagnosis, were unimaginable for him 10 years ago. Tom and Lauren's unique message and many lessons learned have had profound impact on their relationship. Tom's cancer diagnosis strengthens their marriage, a new normal. Please now help me welcome Tom and Lauren.
Thank you for that kind introduction, Dr. Zaro. And I want to thank AUA for amplifying and including the patient voice. I'm Tom Hulsey, and today we want to share a deeply personal journey with you. And it started with a visit to my urologist on my birthday, no less. I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. I felt overwhelmed, and I was ready to give up, which is so unlike me. Navigating life after a cancer diagnosis and treatment can be as intimidating as the disease itself. Survivorship comes with its own set of challenges. But I didn't take this journey alone. I am so proud to introduce my co-survivor and wife, Lauren.
Hello everyone, I'm Lauren, and caring for Tom was not my first rodeo. I was having to take care of my uncle who had severe Parkinson's disease. And I was thrown into a situation that was way out of my comfort zone. But this actually prepared me for what was going to be Tom's, had to take care of Tom, knowing that at that time he was diagnosed with prostate cancer. But what I did find out was that I did have the strength all along.
What Lauren didn't know when she married me was that she would eventually become my co-survivor. And you might ask, what is a co-survivor, and how is that different from the term we typically use, which is caregiver? Well, from our perspective, there is a difference, and I'd like to give you a moment to read the dictionary definition of what a co-survivor is. While both refer to individuals who support someone with an illness, a caregiver often highlights the tasks and responsibilities undertaken by the person providing the support, whereas a co-survivor emphasizes the shared experience and partnership.
Cancer survivors know the profound helplessness when it comes to the feeling when the world is spiraling out of control. When Tom was diagnosed with his cancer, he made the near fatal decision to keep it a secret. Confiding only in family and a few close friends, none of whom had any experience with prostate cancer. I was sworn to secrecy, which was very difficult for me. I am a woman. Just holding that in was very difficult for me. But even as a result, we were even more isolated, and that's what happens, having to hold this information in, and it was definitely overwhelming. Reflecting on that decision, we realized that keeping it all bottled up inside was a huge mistake for us. We ultimately suffered in silence, and Tom was in a very bad place, I would think, and naturally. He was scared, he was depressed, and he was scared, and it scared me as well. He kept things inside, and at one point he decided his best course of action was to do nothing. So if you can imagine, I grew another 6 feet, and then I turned over to him and I told him what I thought about that by keeping it all quiet, wouldn't talk to me about it. So I thought he was being a little selfish.
Lauren was right. I was being selfish.
Compounding our anxiety, right before Tom's diagnosis, one of our closest best friends had recently passed away from prostate cancer.
Let me introduce you to our great friend, Bill Rawlings. Bill had a zest for life, and his motto all of the way to the end was "Life is good." We witnessed Bill's 4-year battle with prostate cancer, and it was absolutely gut-wrenching. I didn't want to go through what Bill went through. I was mentally defeated. And going forward, Lauren and I want to be sure that another man and his family don't suffer like this. But looking back, I realized one significant difference between Bill and I regarding our outcomes was early detection. Like me, Bill was very proactive with his health, but life got in the way, and he skipped a year in getting his physical, which included his PSA. And his widow would tell you that is what ultimately took his life. I owe the past 10 years of my life to early detection and the PSA. And I had an obligation to my family not to give up. They gave me reasons to fight. One of the most powerful motivators was the thought of being there to walk our daughter down the aisle. This goal became a beacon of hope, guiding us through the dark times. Their encouragement and belief in me reignited my determination and reminded me that I'm not a quitter. This turning point was crucial in transforming my mindset from one of defeat to one of resilience and hope. Just as important, I wanted to live for Lauren. She traveled the journey with me every step of the way, and she is the epitome of a true co-survivor.
With all of the ups and downs, Tom's cancer had a profound perspective, gave us a profound perspective on life and a sense of purpose. We are passionate about using our lived experiences to promote positive changes and impact the cancer community. Along the way, we learned that the more advocates are involved, the more advocacy serve the community and contribute to the advancement of cancer patients. Examples including advocating on Capitol Hill and supporting community awareness at events. Mental health plays an essential role in the overall well-being of individuals navigating cancer. Tom and I learned firsthand that prostate cancer's impact identity and masculinity, as well as emotional and treatment side effects. Mental and emotional health are vital components to the feeling of the long-term and wellness. Last summer, Tom and I participated in the River Discovery Cancer Survivor Co-Survivor at a retreat, and it was along the Salmon River in Idaho with 20 other survivors and co-survivors. It was River Discovery offers outdoor adventures for cancer survivors and promotes healing and strengthening of the mind, body, and spirit. The backdrop was breathtaking. The River Discovery adventure was for cancer survivors to promote the healing and strengthening of the mind, body, and spirit. The backdrop, as I said, was just gorgeous. The River Discovery adventure immersed us in nature, whitewater rafting, kayaking, and cliff jumping, which Tom was supposed to go first, but he chickened out and I went first, jumping off that cliff. And then he followed me. But actively, we were also sleeping under the stars, which was absolutely beautiful. The healing power of nature extends beyond physical activity, positively impacting mood and reducing symptoms of depression and anxiety. This experience empowered us to envision a life beyond cancer, optimizing our physical, mental, and emotional health through positive habits.
It takes immense courage to talk about cancer, especially with people you just met. And for me, a man with prostate cancer, it was extremely personal. It's below the belt, and the societal stigma of prostate cancer is real. but it was inspiring to hear how these conversations were empowering and cathartic for all of us. What was impressive about the conversations was that everyone brought a unique set of experiences and knowledge to the open dialogue. We connected with people who had different types of cancer survivorship journeys. We learned that regardless of the type of cancer, we all shared the same emotions, including, as I'm sure everyone can relate, fear and hope. It has been said the patient is the most unused person in healthcare. However, medical care is evolving. It's all about shared decision-making and full transparency, and is core to AUA's Patient Perspectives program. What this means to the patient is that it is incumbent on he or she and their co-survivor to educate themselves. An educated patient is an empowered patient. And it has been shown that an engaged, invested patient typically has a better outcome because he or she makes he or she accountable to take intentional actions.
Throughout this journey, we consistently sought ways to make a positive impact. Tom has served on boards associated with the medical research that have given him the opportunity to contribute to the advancements that benefit cancer patients in a broader community. I was so excited when Tom's dedication to serving others was acknowledged as the recipient for the Lauren Bean Philanthropy Award at the New York University and the Tisch Institute for Global Sport. The award was, and I quote, his dedication and contribution toward philanthropic efforts that resulted in significant positive effects on the world's sports and beyond. And when I say that, when it comes to what he thrives in, and that is crossing sports, health, and purpose. Throughout the journey, we were consistently...
You went backwards.
Oh, I did? Oh, I went backwards. I was going to do it again.
Lauren and I have learned a lot in this journey, and I'm going to talk about some lessons learned in no particular order. We've learned that there are no guarantees when it comes to your health, but it is important to see the whole picture. Your health is your wealth. Make yourself a priority. Prioritizing your health is truly essential as it forms the foundation for everything else in life. Focusing on living an overall healthy lifestyle is critical before, during, and after treatment. Healthy living empowers you to take control of your life. Lesson learned: regardless of your age, take care of your body so that you'll be more prepared physically and mentally when something does happen. We've learned that patient-centered care means taking a holistic approach. It's a bigger picture than simply treating the cancer. We've learned that when you conquer your fears, you find strength you didn't know you had, and you're capable of doing incredible things. You're capable of doing incredible things, as Lauren experienced. No matter how hard we try to avoid things that frighten us, there's no way around them, only through. Going through fear takes courage and diligence.
We learned that you can't afford to keep negative emotions bottled up inside, regardless of the challenge. Seek help, seek out support group, talk about it. We've learned that major medical issues should not be experienced in isolation because the feeling of loneliness can swiftly overtake you, and that's where we were. We learned that if you have a sense that your doctor's assessment doesn't feel right, go out and seek a second or even a third opinion. Tom is a perfect example of what severe cardiac issues. He would not be here right now if he hadn't gotten that second opinion.
Our journey through cancer and other life-threatening illnesses over the past 10 years has given us invaluable lessons about resilience, purpose, and the power of community. I've dedicated my life to helping others, and I hope our story will inspire others to take proactive steps to managing their health. Remember, you're not alone in your struggles, however, it is your choice. We learned that by sharing our lived experiences with one another, we can find strength and purpose in the most challenging times. We've learned that no one is immune to cancer, but with a proactive, resilient mindset, everyone can have a fighting chance. As my idol, Coach Vince Lombardi, said, the good Lord gave you a mind that gave you a body that can overcome almost anything. It's your mind you have to convince.
We learned that there is nothing more gratifying than life and making a difference in people's lives and paying it forward. We've learned that cancer diagnosis creates a new normal. Tom and I are husband and wife first, and now a survivor and co-survivor has been added to our relationship for life.
Before we close, Lauren and I want to thank you for the privilege of your time and allowing us to share our journey and lessons learned. Thank you.
Any questions for Tom and Lauren?
Thank you so much. That was an amazing presentation and just a wonderful story. It's so impactful. I myself have been hit by, it wasn't prostate obviously, but kidney cancer. So I understand what it means to be diagnosed. But you have such an incredible relationship, obviously. You were so fortunate to have this wonderful woman with you. What kind of advice, or there's so many people, especially men out there, that are diagnosed with prostate cancer, and as you said, there is a stigma, and there's an embarrassment, and it's very hard to talk to, especially as a man. Not everybody has this wonderful woman standing by. How would you encourage people who are sort of on an island of their own and don't have a co-survivor?
Can you hear me? I would encourage finding a support group. Also, just one of the organizations I've been affiliated with, Zero Prostate Cancer, is an example. They have a mentor-mentee program where you have one-on-one support for maybe somebody that doesn't want to talk in a group, but it gives you someone to talk to. And I've been a mentor in that program for a number of years, and it's really helped a lot of men, because some men, like you say, don't have someone that can be there for them. I've been very blessed and fortunate to have Lauren by my side. But again, I would recommend, finding that support group or seeking out an advocacy organization that might have that kind of one-on-one support.
They'll feel better when they're talking to another man. It's one thing because of wife or spouse or something, but it's still, in this case with prostate cancer, it's about talking it out with another man in this case.
Absolutely, and coming from patient advocacy, I think it's so important to talk to patient advocacy groups and support, but it's that initial taking that courageous step to actually talk.
I understand.
And I was there because I did not talk about it. And as like Lauren said, that nearly did me, and it took me over a year before I started talking about it. And it's very, very isolating and overwhelming.
I had told Tom, because he was so bottled up, I told him, just do a blog or something. Just write everything that you're feeling down. And he did that. And guess what? He got an email back. And this was somebody I believe was in New Zealand, and he had questions, and they talked. And that, understanding that gave this gentleman some real, I guess, maybe he was feeling a little better. He was talking to him, and it was strictly only on, email, and that made him very comfortable. So that was the way it started for Tom.
I had given him hope and inspiration, and it just grew. But at the time, I wasn't trying to make a difference in the world, but it was so therapeutic for me just to write about it.
I think probably that blog saved his life or helped him or gave him hope. So that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that question, Liz, because I was thinking along those lines. And also for urologists and care providers in the audience, I think too, even if there's a family member that shows up at appointments, it doesn't mean the support is there that one needs. So I think just this topic alone could be a whole presentation for next year, and for anybody. We have one more question here.
So I think you're very lucky to have each other through this process. Lauren, you clearly played a role in Tom opening up and talking to other people. How do we encourage patients to do that? Because I think it's that one hurdle of like sharing your story is very hard. So how do we help other patients take that first step?
Well, it was difficult at first. But when we realized that he needed to get some of this out and talk about it, we started soft until I put my foot down. I had to at some point. But because of that, we were able to move forward. But there just has to be some strength on both sides and practice. Just trying to get him to talk about it. Like, what's bottled up? I need to know. Otherwise, I won't be able to help you. And I want him to be around longer. He had difficult time making some decisions, but it was hard, and I understood it until I, told him, you're either going to do nothing, and I thought, no, I was going to beat him up. But he did finally, and we started slow, and then it became okay. Now he was talking to me and everything. I know he wanted to keep it private or even to himself. But finally it came about where the words just kept coming out. And then we started making decisions and research, and then we decided that was the best opportunity for him to move forward with this surgery. Thank you.
Okay, and I have one more question, and then we have to move
I
on.
have one question for the audience.
Oh, go ahead, Tom.
No, I just have one question for the audience, and that is, are there any co-survivors, or caregivers in the audience today?
Party of one.
Okay, thank you.
Well, it's okay though.
Okay. Well, we do need to move on. Wonderful. Thank you all, both of you, Tom and Lauren. All right, I'm going to stay right here to introduce our next speaker so we can make sure the slides are changed. We're going to be welcoming Kim up to the podium. Kim Allen lives in